Yes?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
First of all, I want to welcome everyone here and Happy New Year to all of you. Other than poor Fanny, I hope the rest of you had a good holiday at least and are able to start the new year well. And the reason I wanted to do this right now in January is because so many of us, when January kind of comes around, we look at the new year and we kind of make plans and our goals and all those things we want to do, set some plans, whether it's for personal, for our business. But if I've had a lot of people tell me that they really would like to get into home ownership, but they have no idea where to start or how to start or what they need to know or what the banks are looking for. So I put this together and I hope you enjoy it. It'll give you a little bit of an idea of, especially if you're kind of starting out, what to expect. And we'll go from there. But yeah, getting into doing all of this, the home ownership is, first of all, really kind of taking a look at your, I'm going to skip this one with Esther not here. My name again is Rosemary Giz, and I'm a licensed mortgage broker here in Ontario. Now, when we're talking about home ownership ready, it really kind of boils down to understanding your finances, understanding what you've got coming in, going out, your assets, your liabilities, all of that fun stuff that no one ever really likes to talk about. But you want to have a fair idea of what your financial position really looks like, because it's really important, whether it's to buy a home or whether it's for anything else. I really feel strongly that it's important that you understand your own personal finances and how to grow them, you know, what you want to do to build your finances, and also understanding your credit. And if you don't know anything about your credit score or your credit rating, that is something that I suggest everybody do. Okay, just so that you know and that you're able to, so when you start looking to purchase stuff, you're not going to get hit with a surprise that says, sorry, your credit rating is too low and we can't help you. Okay, but I've got some fabulous news for all those people that are on the fence and worried and not sure where to begin, is that I'm going to help you build your financial home ownership team. Yeah, you've got people there that are going to help you find your home, help you with your home, help you with your financing. The realtor is going to help you with purchasing the property. And then you've got a whole team of other people that are all going to have a vested interest in helping you. So that's actually pretty good news because you're not in this alone, okay? And purchasing a home and getting a mortgage is not a one size fits all, okay? It is much more complicated because there's so many options, and that's really the only reason. There's so many more lenders, there's so many more options, and thanks to Google, everybody looks to Google for answers and for all of their questions. A caution I'm going to say with Google is that depending on how you word your question, your answer can come up differently every time. The other caution I will give you is that recently I was talking to a client and they quoted something to me about some aspect of the home buying process. And when I thought about it for a minute, I realized she was quoting American policies and procedures for mortgages. And American and Canadian policies around mortgages, even home buying, is a little bit different. So be very careful when you start Googling on the internet to find answers for your questions, okay? Now, beginning, like I said already, understand your numbers, understand your paperwork, your income, your expenses, your assets, your liabilities. It sounds a lot, but once you have it all together and you know where everything is, it's gold, okay? And then you've also have your, your credit rating with you in hand because you called the credit agency and got your credit report done, okay? It's free when you call the agency to doing it, the credit bureau agency. And if anyone needs their phone number, I'm certainly happy to provide that at the end. Also, too, I just wanted to mention, please don't hesitate to write down your questions because I can't really see any of you with the slides up. If you write down your questions, I will be more than happy to address them at the end, if that's okay with everyone. And yeah, if you want to ask any questions, we can do it then. And the purpose of all of this is once you've got your finances in place, you can get a pre-approval. So you're going to go to a lender, get pre-approved so that you know and you're comfortable with where you're at and what you can afford, okay? And you're not having to kind of worry about, going into a bank and saying to the banker, well, you know what, how much can I get? What can you do for me? It's better that you have that control in your own hands. And you also want to ensure that you get the right mortgage, not just a mortgage. Same with the realtor, and I know Esther will attest to it. You want to make sure you're getting the right property for you for whatever your purpose is, okay? And we're going to go into much more of this in more detail as we go along. But I want to talk about the team, building your team to help you with this. And these are professionals in their industries that are going to work with you in buying the home and getting you through that whole process. So you'll have a mortgage broker that will help you with all the financing, make sure you've got all your paperwork in order, and make sure that you can get you a pre-approval. So that now that you have that pre-approval in hand, you can talk to your realtor and sit down with the realtor and really discuss again with her or him what exactly you're looking for. What are your needs and wants around property? Are you looking to be in the city and want a nice little condo? Or maybe you want to have a house with a backyard for the kids to, when you get married and have children and all those things and you want the backyard. That's, those are the kind of things you want to look at. You also want to consider proximity to places. Do you want to be close to highways because you're on the road a lot? Do you want to be close to the schools for your kids? So when you're doing your homework on properties and understanding where you want to be and the type of property, those are all really crucial too as well. And if it's for investment purposes, the same thing. The lawyer, people get asked me a lot about why you need a lawyer. Well, you need a lawyer because basically the lawyer is going to review all your documents and they are going to register your name on title in your municipality or the municipality of the property. The home inspector, in my opinion, is crucial, especially for people that are first-time buyers. Usually, and I know for myself, when I was a first-time buyer, I didn't understand the building itself, the structure, how sound was the structure. Is the electrical and the wiring and the plumbing and all of those things behind the walls, are they in good shape? Are they up to date? Do they need to be updated? The roof, how old is the roof? Does the roof need to be replaced? So these are all questions that the inspector will handle. And then insurance, you're going to have a whole slew of different types of insurance that are going to get thrown at you. And we're going to talk about that later too. So your team starts right here. These are the first people that you're going to have contact with. The mortgage broker. So you will come in to see me. And what I am really for you is a personal mortgage advisor. I help you through all the questions, trying to understand all the nuances, take you through the maze of options, all those types of things. And I am a one-stop shop for the financing needs. So I can help guide you and lead you in the direction that you want to be in. And I'll get you that pre-approval so that you could then talk to your realtor, see Esther, and Esther will be able to help you find the property. it's a customized solution, so it's not a one size fits all, as I mentioned earlier. So we want to make sure you get the right mortgage. And I'm licensed in Ontario, all of Ontario. Won't talk about Esther, but basically she will help you find the right property, help you with your search, and make sure that you get the property that best suits your needs. Now, as a mortgage broker, as I keep mentioning, I get you that pre-approval, and they also walk you through all the steps to the process to make sure that we close the purchase. You get to be able to move into the house. I'm there the whole step of the way, okay? And I'm also proud to say that I've got 25 years in this industry. So I've been there, I've seen it, I've seen a lot of things, and I've helped a lot of people figure those things out. Another question I get asked a lot is, what are the benefits of having a mortgage broker over going to a bank? Well, a mortgage broker, as you've kind of figured out by now, works for you, not the bank. When you go into a bank and you talk to the mortgage specialist in the bank, they work for the bank, they're responsible to the bank, and they have to abide by the bank's rules and policies and procedures, and they have only one product to offer you. As a mortgage broker, I can offer you usually better rates. Our services are generally free, which is also a misconception out there. And people, yes, have been charged for the services, but usually if they're being charged, it's because it was very complex. It needed a lot more work, and there was a lot more issues that had to be resolved around getting the mortgage. I'm highly qualified, again, 25 years in this business, and I offer peace of mind that I'm looking after your best interest. And over the 25 years that I've been in the business. What? Hello? Hello?
Someone just needs to mute.
Thank you, Michelle. I have access, basically, as an independent mortgage broker, we have access to many lenders. And I have access to probably good over 118 lenders in Canada. And that includes your banks, includes trust companies, credit unions, and mortgage companies, as well as even private lenders. So I have access to all of them.
She went for a small
Can
vendor.
you mute everyone else and just?
Because actually I thought that when I was coming back from work, I thought that actually it was here.
Michelle, can I get you to take care of that? Or no?
Yeah.
You can't.
So it probably fell off from my phone.
I
can.
can't.
So that's good.
Let me see, how do I mute?
It's Sim.
On your counter.
I just send them a direct message. I just sent Sim.
Okay,
Direct
thank
message.
you. Thank you very much. Anyway, back to this. Effectively, mortgage brokers don't work for one bank. We represent all of them, all lenders out there, all makes and models, and we're there to ensure you get your mortgage closed. Getting pre-approved is your first piece of business when it comes to looking at home ownership.
Can you share the screen again?
I'm sorry?
Can you share the screen again?
Which one? The previous?
No, we can see it right now.
Oh, you can't see it?
No,
Ooh.
not anymore.
Uh-oh, okay.
I can see it.
I can see it okay, Rosemary.
Pardon me?
Really? No, I don't see it.
Yeah,
It's-
I can see the slide.
Oh, but it's
You
far
have
away.
to you have to minimize the pictures on everybody. It's the black thing. You just have to minimize it, and then you can see their screen.
I'm seeing it fine. If you go to the top gallery view or whatnot,
That's
you
right.
want to make sure that you
Oh,
say.
okay. Now I can see it. I don't
Are you
know. Thank you. Sorry.
Are we
Thank
all
you.
okay?
Yeah, I'm okay now. Thank you.
It's very strange when you're the host. I can't see any of you. I can only see my screen. So I would rather see people and be able to look at you in the face and talk to you. So I'm sorry about that. But anyway, the
Looks like you have
financial,
Esther's on board.
I'm sorry?
Esther's on board.
Hello, Esther. I guess she's still
Oh,
working.
she's muted. She's muted.
Hello?
I'll just send her a message.
Oh, okay, thank you. Wow, I've got my team here all working for me. All right, getting back to the pre-approval. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, whether you're purchasing a property or anything else, knowing your financial picture is really important. And particularly understanding your credit score, your credit rating, and your credit situation. Very crucial for everyone. And when it comes to credit and understanding credit, and I'm going to do a program on that alone at a future date. And with the credit, understanding your credit, there is human error. And sometimes there could be stuff on your credit rating that don't even belong to you. So it's a really good idea to contact the credit rating agency and make sure that you go through everything with them so that everything is clear, okay? I also get asked a lot, what are the lenders looking for? What do they need and what do they want? Basically, these items are what they are looking for and what they're going to want to see, and they'll be part of your documents that you're going to bring into your lender. They want to know about your assets. Excuse me again. They're going to want to know about your assets, basically what you own now, your income. Your income can come from a variety of different ways, and you need to be able to spell that out and confirm your income by way of several different ways. And I'm going to go into those in a few minutes, but you need to be able to show them your income and confirm your income. You also want to be able to show them what debts that you have and confirm those debts. And that'll be confirmed actually in the credit report. How many loans you have, credit cards, whether you're making your payments on time or not, whether you've declared bankruptcy in the past, all of those things will show up on the credit report. So they're going to want to see your debts. And your down payment. That's another biggest piece, is that you're going to show them that you have down payment to be able to purchase the property. And they're going to want to know where it's coming from. Is it coming from savings? Is it coming from your investments? If it's coming from investments, you're going to show them statements, basically, that show that that's where it's coming from. Or if it's coming from a savings account, the same thing. You're going to show proof and confirm those. Talking about income a little further, there's mainly two big pieces of differences when it comes to income. Either you're employed and working for someone, or you're self-employed and you're working for yourself. In the being employed category, the main piece of information that the lenders are going to want is your letter from your employer. So if you're going in to get pre-approved, make sure you have that information ready to go. So you'll get your employer to provide a letter of employment, and it will have several different pieces of information that are required. Sorry. Basically, excuse me, confirming that you work there, how long you've worked there, what is your title, your annual income, and any other pertinent information about the job. Okay, so it'll be in there. Along with that, the lenders are going to want a current pay stub. Okay, not 6 months ago or a couple of months ago. They're going to want a current one. So they're going to want to know what your current pay is coming in. And 2 years of T4 statements, okay? On the self-employed side, they're going to want to know, are you a registered business? Are you incorporated? They're going to want to see 2 years of T1 generals, a most recent notice of assessment, so your tax return statement that comes back, 6 months of bank statements. And the reason for that is a lot of people, as you know, they don't show their income. So the lenders are going to want to see that you've got a steady flow of income coming in at month after month after month. And so they're going to want to see 6 months of bank statements showing that. And if you've got any invoices for contracts or agreements or anything else that will help showing that the income is coming in, these are all pieces of proof on the income. Now, oh my gosh, sorry about that. The credit score is a number that's going to be provided on your credit bureau report. And that's the very first thing the lenders look at. When a lender looks at your application for mortgage, it's the credit bureau that's going to be first thing they're going to look at. And all lenders have a threshold of what they'll accept or not accept as far as a base on the score. And by that, I mean, the banks, for instance, they have a base of around 650. So it would be under the line there that says good. So 650 and above. Some lenders are higher than that. Some lenders are even lower than that. But that's kind of like the 650 would kind of give like a rule of thumb where you want to be. And when you get your credit report, you'll be able to see where you fall in that. And if you're less than 650, that's when your broker is going to start looking at alternate lenders, maybe a credit union that'll look at it, or another type of a mortgage company, or if it, or it may even have to go private. So this is where your mortgage broker is going to be able to help you through all of these steps and all of these processes to make sure that we find the right mortgage for you. Also, too, as a mortgage broker, I can also guide you in how do I improve that credit score so that I can get like a prime rate mortgage with one of the, like an A lender is what they call it. If you have any questions on any part of that, again, just jot them down and we'll address them at the end, okay? Now, Esther, are you there?
No, she's having some trouble connecting. I don't know what's going on. But she might
Okay,
have
all
texted
right.
you too.
Okay,
Okay.
well, I have a few, let me just see, I think it's S, there it is, okay. When you're looking at real estate and, one thing I used to hear from a lot of people, years ago is they'd say, they go drive through an open house and find they love the house. And then they kind of do that as their first place of contact and then go to try and see if they qualify. Your realtor will help you with a lot of that stuff. And the realtor will want to see, or Esther will want to see that you've been pre-approved so that you're not wasting your own time and seeing properties that you can't afford or wasting time on her end where she's trying to figure out, okay, what kind of properties can I show you and what are we looking for? But they will save you time and they'll save you money because they're there to work with you and they work very hard on your behalf to ensure that, first of all, they've listened to your needs and wants and they understand what exactly you're looking for, whether it's for a short-term goal or long-term, they'll be able to help you with that. And the real estate agent will also provide valuable market insights. As you know, with the market, there's news every single day about what's going on in the market, what's happening, values going up, values going down, whatever, interest rate this and interest rate that. Real estate agents, as well as mortgage brokers, have insight in all of that and are able to guide you and work with you on it so that all the piles of information aren't so confusing. And, they'll guide you. They'll guide you through the whole process to make sure that you find the right property for you. They'll help you avoid costly mistakes by choosing the wrong property or putting in a bad offer. That's another area that they are very good at in helping guide you when it comes to putting in an offer on a property, okay? You have to have the right, sort of, make the right, you have the right questions that you're gonna ask. You also wanna know that things that are gonna go into the offer to purchase. What conditions are you gonna put into it, okay? So they'll be able to guide you through all of that. And the realtors, of course, will help negotiate the process with the selling agent or the vendor, the homeowner. They'll be able to work with them and negotiate on your behalf. Quite often as individuals, you can't really negotiate that easily with people, where the selling agents and the selling agents and the buyer's agents are able to sort of help you with that process and do the negotiating for you. We talked about the importance of the lawyer. Lawyer is very, very important. And for main reason is that they will look after all your legal paperwork. They will go through your documents, make sure everything is in good standing, make sure that your interests are protected, whether it's the offer to purchase that you want them to review, or the mortgage commitment letter that you're looking at for the mortgage with all the mortgage details. They'll be able to help you with that as well. But the most important piece for the lawyer is that they are going to register that mortgage and the deed of ownership, meaning that they are going to register your ownership with the municipality that the property is located. And they'll also ensure that all your interests are protected. Speaking of municipality, if you are, say, in Toronto and you want to purchase in St. Catharines, you're not going to use a Toronto lawyer. You're going to use a lawyer in St. Catharines because you want a lawyer that's working in the specific municipality of the property. Make sense? All right. Home inspectors. I have personal experience on home inspectors, and I am very strong on believing that, particularly for first-time buyers, you want to have it, and it'll also, as Esther would have mentioned, it would be a clause in your offer to purchase that a home inspector will review the property and ensure that you are satisfied with their report on the property. And what they do is they examine the property. They identify any major structural problems. They will tell you, for instance, whether the crack in the basement is okay or not. Is it a problem? Or the electrical and the plumbing and the wiring, are they out of date? Do they need to be updated? Or the roof, for instance, because they do. They look at from the basement right through to the roof, and they might come back and say, you know what, your roof is in great condition, but you might have to think about replacing it in 3 to 5 years. So that's something to think about. That's a note that you're going to make to self that, you know what, when the mortgage comes up for renewal in 5 years, we're going to probably have to replace the roof or fix the roof. So little things like that, but they are crucial in the process, especially if you don't understand the mechanics of the building. Okay. Insurance. I did mention that there's several different types of insurance that are going to come up, and it can get confusing because there's so much information being thrown at you, but I'm going to go through these in just a little bit of detail, but not too much detail for you. The first one, I'm going to ask, has anybody here heard of high ratio mortgage? Do you know what a high ratio mortgage is? Is there anybody out there that says yes, no, or maybe? High ratio mortgage is technically called mortgage default insurance. Okay, and this mortgage default insurance, basically the way it works is a bank cannot by law through the Bank Act lend over 80% of up to more than 80% of the value of a property without having this mortgage insurance on it. It's a default insurance that protects the lender, not the borrower, okay? But what it does and the benefit of it is that it allows you to get in with 5% down payment. And with values the way they are today, even 5% is a lot of money. So it allows you to get in with 5% down. The lender puts insurance on it through one of the insurance companies, which many of you may have heard of, CMHC or Canada Mortgage and Housing. They put the insurance on. The other piece of information on that is that it's not an upfront cost. There is a premium attached to it, but the premium is going to get added to the mortgage. So you don't have to worry about that upfront. With all the closing costs and everything, it goes added to the mortgage. I've also been asked, well, what if I want to pay that off quickly? Well, that's when you get into managing your mortgage once you're in it and finding ways to start paying it down quickly and getting rid of getting it lowered as much as possible. The second one on there is mortgage life insurance or creditor insurance. Basically, the life insurance is what it says. It's mortgage life insurance. So it's insurance on the mortgage in the event that something happens to one of the income earners. Excuse me. Fire insurance or property insurance, they call it, is required on all mortgages, and it will be in the terms and conditions, one of the clauses in the mortgage commitment from a lender. They'll always ask for that to be put on there. So that's something you'll have to do as well. And that way is upfront. All right. Home ownership and building a financial plan isn't easy, as you all know, but having a concrete plan helps to ensure your long-term success. And that's really key here in growing and preserving your family's future. Home ownership is a part of a long-term plan. So whether it's to purchase now and stay in it long-term, or you want to purchase and use it as an investment property, these are all ways of growing and building your wealth and building your nest egg or your retirement, all of those things. So it becomes part of it. Your mortgage, as it's getting paid down and the value goes up, you've got that built-in savings. You got that built-in nest egg in there or retirement money so that it's there. Where the difference, if you're renting your entire life, unless you've been really, really diligent and saving your money and putting money away and putting money into RSPs and whatnot, there's no return on your investment when you're renting. Okay. Types of properties. And again, there's so many different types of properties as much as there's many different types of mortgages. When we're talking properties, there's houses, detached houses, semi-detached houses, row houses, all sorts of types that way. And condominiums, as we all know, those are the high rises, and you basically are purchasing one of the units within that complex or that building. So you own the unit itself that you're purchasing, and then you have a shared ownership of the maintenance and the upkeep and everything else within the building. And that's called like a management or common elements fee. So when you get your mortgage and you're making your mortgage payments, you're also paying another fee for management, for condo fees, all of those things. So that'll be also built into it, into your payment. And there's ownership, owner occupied, and it may be a multi-unit. You may be the type of person that says, you know what, I'd like to have some secondary income coming in or some income coming in while I live in my property. So you may want to buy, say, a duplex or a triplex, fourplex, and occupy one of the units and then rent out the others, okay? So that's also a consideration there. Second homes are also a possibility. People will buy properties for cottages or for rentals, okay? Rental or investment properties. All right, action plan time, okay? So if you're looking to purchase, gather all of your documents, have all your backup, have all of your information there, ready for when you talk to a lender And you're also empowered yourself. You already know that what everything looks like. You know yourself that you've got, how much you've got, that you've got your savings, you've got your investments, everything's in order and your credit rating is good. So you reach out to me and get pre-approved. Then you're going to contact Esther with that pre-approval and begin exploring your purchasing options with confidence, actually. So you're not kind of second guessing yourself and trying to figure it all out. For those that already have a mortgage, and for once you purchase your property, you want to speak to your mortgage broker about refinancing and renewal options. And one thing I'd like to add really is that before your renewal date, and what happens with renewals, basically, when you take out the mortgage, you're taking out a term. You're taking out a fixed term, say 1 to 5 years, usually about 5 years, with a specific interest rate at the time. So you've got your interest rate, you've got your term, which is 5 years, and that's your fixed payment over 5 years, or you'll have a variable rate payment over 5 years. And I'm not going to get into that here, but basically at 5 years, obviously you haven't paid off the property, but they're going to offer you a renewal. And that's what they'll offer you. A couple of months before the renewal date, they'll say, hey, Fanny, your mortgage is coming up for renewal. And here are our current rates. And here, I know you're busy, so just sign which term you want, whether it's a 5 year or whatever, and you're good to go for another 5 years. My big warning on that is that use your renewal date to maximize need to do anything with the property, or if you need to take money out. Refinancing options basically is what that is. You don't want to be trying to refinance in the middle of a term. You want to be able to refinance at the end of the term or at the renewal, because there's no penalties attached. Where if it's in the middle of the term, you're paying penalties. Okay, so at the end of the term, you can refinance, you can pull equity out, you can do renovations on the property that needed work, like that roof I just talked about, or whatever other reasons that you need. Maybe you want to pay off the debts. Maybe you had accumulation of all your debts and you want to pay them off and get rid of them and pull out some of the equity. So that is the time to kind of another time to review everything with the property. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for coming. I hope I was able to sort of help you out with a few of your questions. I know it was a very much of an overview, but we did that to basically give you an idea of what to expect during the journey. And I'm also hoping to continue over the next little while. And I'll be sending you guys out information about an upcoming workshop or seminar. It could be on understanding your credit. It could be on refinancing. It could be on a whole bunch of different things that I'm looking forward to actually getting into more detail about. Because each one of those pieces that we talked about, whether it's income or your down payment, those are courses on its own. So it's a big piece. And I hope you found this of value. And I'm sorry that Esther is not here. I'm going to open it up right now to basically questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but I also want to emphasize that any questions you have, you can ask them here now. And I just want to see, I think there was another screen on here. One more second here. Yes, I did. I'm going to, if you want to do a screenshot or make a copy of this or write this information down, this is my phone number that you can text me and say, you know what, I want to book a 30-minute call to help you, assist you in answering all of your questions and helping you on the path of homeownership. So if you could jot that phone number down, and just tell me that, yeah, I want that 30-minute call. Also too, I have a home buyer guide that I'm going to send out to each of you that again will probably cover a lot of what we talked about today and help you. You can take notes in it, write things down, and kind of help you with your process of where you're going from here. And I think Esther has a gift as well. I guess I can't really, if you want to take a screenshot of this, basically she's gifting to you, it looks like from her website, 7 strategies to real estate wealth. Okay, if you can take a, I'm sorry?
Can you put that in the chat?
Can you put it in the chat?
Yeah. Is that another option you can do?
Let me see if I can, I don't have it with me. I'm gonna see.
That was Esther's gift. I have a question.
Yes,
Okay, so if somebody is their employer, that's one thing. When they're self-employed, what would you need to see from them?
when they're self-employed,
Yes.
basically how long you've been in business, what your business is, and whether you're registered, your business, or you're incorporated. They're going to want to see those things. Slide was back there. I had it listed, but basically they want to see a 2-year average on the business. And I think it was 2 years.
6 months of bank statement.
That's actually very crucial, Fanny. Thank you very much. I was thinking more along the lines of the T1 generals and the NOAs. You're going to want to have a current NOA. If I could find that, go back to that screen, you could take a screenshot of it.
I just wanted a general, yeah.
Yeah, basically, I have a lot of people that'll come to me and they'll say, well, obviously we all know that your tax return, your income tax return doesn't reflect what you actually really make.
Right.
Because you, as self-employed, you write everything off. So things like your bank statements, 6 months, sometimes even they've asked for a year bank statements showing consistent flow of income coming in. And if you have any contracts or agreements with people, individuals or companies, you can add those in as well as strength to show your income.
Thank you. And I know that you have privy to private lenders as well as the banks, right? So.
Oh, that's where, when I mentioned, it was like 118 lenders was the last recording that I was given, the told, and that includes the banks too, right? So yes, it's all of them. It's the banks, it's the trust companies, it's the credit unions, life insurance companies. And yes, we do have a long list of private lenders, and we're always looking for more private lenders as well to be able to assist, some of our clients in finding the right mortgage for them. All right. Now, what questions do we have in the chat? There's all kinds of things here. Okay, no, I don't think there's any. No. Okay. Does anyone have questions here now that they want to ask?
Could you explain a little bit more about that mortgage default?
The mortgage default insurance?
Yeah.
Basically, it's default insurance. It's the lenders will require it when you're going in with less than 20% down payment. Okay. The Bank Act does not allow them to lend over 80% of the value of a property without having it insured. So you're going in with, let's say, 5%, which is allowed, absolutely. And the lender can now do that. They can say, okay, I'm going to give you the mortgage at 5% down, but I need to put in the default insurance or high ratio insurance. They can't do it otherwise without it. They have to have the
Like how much would that be on top of?
Pardon me?
How much would that be on top of?
It depends. If it's 5% down, I don't have the numbers in front of me. 5% down is about 4% of the mortgage. 4% of the mortgage, 4% of the purchase price. It's 4%. But like I said, it's a hefty number. It's not, it's not something you have to pay up front, but it will get attached to the mortgage. So your mortgage will say, mortgage amount for say 200,000, and it'll be plus whatever the premium is. Let's say the premium is $2,000. That's probably not right, but I just threw a number out there. It would, your mortgage would read 202,000 as opposed to 200,000. Okay. And like I said, it gets attached to the mortgage. Does
So,
that help? It's
yeah.
basically an insurance to protect the lender in case you default. So if you can't make your mortgage payments and you default and you're going to lose your property, the lender in essence is protected.
So these are all the fees that factor into the cost of the mortgage?
It's part of the fees.
No, not fees, but these are all aspect of like these are all part of the cost of the mortgage, right?
Well, when you're looking at the cost of the mortgage, right?
I think like
You know, there's the down payment and all that stuff. When you're closing the mortgage, you're going to have legal fees and all of those things attached to it. But the mortgage insurance is not an upfront cost. You don't have to pay that upfront. Or as you're going through the process, you don't have to calculate that into the cost to close the mortgage. Make sense?
yeah.
Okay. The lender's going to say, here's your mortgage, and it includes this insurance premium, and it's attached to the mortgage. So it becomes part of the mortgage number that you're paying. So you're paying that as you're paying the mortgage. It's a one-time over the whole life of the mortgage. So it's not something that you have to be concerned that, okay, I have to pay this up front before I close with the lawyer, and you don't have to worry about, you know, that it's annual or a regular cost. It's only a one-time cost. I've had people say to me, well, how do I get rid of it quickly? Well, I get rid of it quickly by utilizing some of the ways of paying down your mortgage faster. Okay, and that's how people get around it. They say, you know what? I can make larger payments than required, or I can do bi-weekly payments instead of monthly payments, because then you're paying extra money every month, or, you know, doubling your payments or whatever. You want to understand your lender's clauses and prepayment privileges in there that say, what are some of the things you can do to pay off your mortgage quickly? And that's where people start looking at that when it comes to, how do I pay this mortgage off quickly? Because yeah, you're paying a premium on there on top of it. But the reality is that without that premium, you would need 20% of the property value to purchase it. Okay. Yes. Any more questions? Everyone's looking dumbfounded.
That was great. Thank you, Rosemary.
You're welcome. Any other questions from anyone? What I would like to suggest is, you know, please call me, text me, and tell me you want to sit down with me for, you know, 30, 45 minute even consultation. And we can review all those things for you. We can sit down and say, okay, what do we need to know? What do we need to do? How do I get to where I want to be? How do I save the money to do the down payment? All of those kind of things. So we can cover a lot of it. And the same with Esther. I'm really sorry and sad she's not here. That's very unfortunate that something happens just before the call. That's too bad. But I think most of you have her contact information. If not, reach out to me and I will make sure that you have all of that information. Let me think. I think it was in one of the slides. Let's see where we go back. If I go back up to the screen share. Okay, that was her offer. There's her contact information there. If you want to take a screenshot of it or write those numbers down. And that's the easiest way, I think, for you to get in touch with her. Does that help? And the same with myself. That's my phone number, my website. Whoops, what happened? My fingers clicked it, sorry. My website, my phone number, and my email address.
Hi, Rosemary. Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Yeah, just thank you for your presentation. It's really interesting. Regarding insurance, I just want to add one more point. When you mentioned 3 types of insurance, there another one insurance which could be cheaper and more beneficial for the home buyer, which is life insurance through an insurance company. So I'm wondering if you have refer or recommended to any home buyer to get a life insurance from an insurance company?
Basically, I would suggest you do not get basically what they call the creditor insurance or the lender's insurance. Yes, you want to get your own. And I am affiliated with several insurance companies that I would refer my clients to get it, because yes, it's more beneficial. Again, I don't have all the details in here for it, but basically it's protection for you and not for the lender. The lenders are there to protect their asset. Life insurance, you want to get it through an insurance company. Yes, not the bank.
Okay. As for mortgage, for insurance, you mentioned if the down payment is lower than 5% or 25%. I didn't get it clearly.
The bank cannot lend, right? They cannot put a mortgage, give you a mortgage for greater than 80% of the value. Okay.
80%.
So they can only go up to 80%. If you're going in with 5% or 10 or even 15%, that's obviously less than 20% down payment. Okay.
Less than 20%. Okay.
So less than 20%, you're going in with 5% or 10 or 15. And what that does, it allows you to go in with that amount as opposed to needing 20%.
Okay, I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's basically the lenders saying we can do it, but we need it insured.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so it just really depends on the percentage, on whether or not you're gonna need that extra insurance.
For the default insurance? It's a default insurance has different amounts. If you're going with 5% down payment versus 15% down payment, it's tiered, so it's not as much. Like I think if you're going with 5%, I think it's close to 4%. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm sorry, but it's close to 4% if it's 5% down. If you're going in with 15 or 20 or less than 20%, then it runs a little bit less than that. Emily, do you have those numbers in front of you? I'll put you on the spot.
That's okay. You're talking about the down payment insurance.
The premium.
Premium. I can find them. I can find them right away here. Hold on. I know you're right about the 4% if you have only 5% down. Just give me 2 seconds here. Insurance premium.
I know Emily's familiar with this.
Let's see here. Okay. Hold on. I got them. Just loading the page. Okay, yes, I do have them now. Okay, so they range anywhere from 0 anywhere from 2.4% premium if you have 20% down payment. And like you said, up to 4% if you have 5% down payment. So let me just see if I can put this into the chat. I might be able to. Hold on. That would be helpful, eh?
Thank you,
see.
Emily.
Maybe
Not
it
like
might
putting
work.
you on the spot.
That's okay. Here you go. Let's see if you can read this. There, yeah, it looks
Can everybody
the-
read that? That's very good. Thank you, Emily.
you're welcome. Hopefully everyone can read that okay.
Question, even you pay 80%, it maybe you have to pay 2.4%
No,
premium,
no,
right? What is this?
No, not necessarily, and probably not likely. It depends on the lender and whether they insure the properties or not. When it's less than 20 or more than 20% down, but mainly I'll be looking at the 85 and up. Okay, 85% and up. So if it's less than, let's just go down with the 5%, okay? 5% down payment, you're looking at a 4% premium that's going to get attached to the mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay, so whatever the mortgage is going to look like, it's going to be 4% added onto it.
Mortgage value, or that's the mortgage value or property value? 4% of what?
I think it's 4% of the value of the property, the purchase.
Okay.
Okay. 90% is 3.1%. And it gets added on again, the same thing. The key indicator here is that it does allow you to go in with a lesser down payment. That's the important part to remember, because with house values, it's a lot of money to come up with, especially with down payment. And if you can do it with the less down payment, it's worth everything. And with values going up all the time, that's going to be recouped. Okay, so that's the important part to know, because if otherwise you would have to put, 85% or 80% loan to value, 20% loan to value all the time without this insurance. And I see Sita is looking stressed.
No, I'm taking
It's a
in-
lot to think about. And that's why I very strongly believe that the more you understand, the more you can be empowered to be able to figure things out, talk to the right people. When it comes to your money, is Fanny already gone? She's gone. Okay. When it comes to a lot of this, the more information, the more knowledge that you can get, the more empowered you are. And when it comes to savings and investments and all that stuff, you want to have a good financial advisor as well as part of your team. Make that part of your team, that you're going to sit with them and get them to help you through that process and figure out. You sit down with them and say, okay, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. I want to buy a home this year. How do I get to that piece? And how long will it take me to get there? Okay. So like anything, it's a long-term thing. It's not something you're going to do overnight. I used to tell people it's like getting married. When you're looking to get married, there's so many things to think about. There's so many details, and it takes about a year. You start a year ahead of time to plan a wedding. Everything's got to be right. Everything's got to be straightforward and clear, as far as the budget that you're going to have for it, how many people, the venue, where you're going to have it, the flowers, the food, the people. There's a lot of detail. And I kind of say it's kind of the same thing. Not as much, but you want to have it in a planned process. You want to be able to say, okay, this is my goal. And that's why I said at the beginning of all of this, if you're making 2022 a plan to buy a home, Start now and looking at all your numbers. Get help from everybody that can help you, whether it's from a mortgage broker, whether it's from your insurance guy, your financial advisor, or perhaps maybe your accountant, if you've got accountant that's working for you and knows all of the details around your numbers. These are all people that are going to help you with that. Okay. And as I mentioned early on, you're not alone. This is something that you're going to have a lot of people helping you out with. Okay. And you want to have the right people. You want to have people that are going to give you good, solid advice and help you with that process. Even if it's, how do I save this much money? What do I need to do? How do I, where do I go? How do I budget myself? How do I work out my numbers so that I can get it? These are kind of the things that you're going to have people there to help you with. If it's your credit and you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I improve my credit? Because I've had a lot of stuff in the past that's brought it down. Maybe I did a lot, I had a lady about 6 months ago, 2 years prior, she had lost her job. So all of her credit cards and everything else kind of went down. She was missing payments and everything else. So that affected the credit rating. Okay. But when I go to a lender, I'll take that information to the lender and say, okay, this is what happened 2 years ago. Now, 2 years later, she hasn't missed any payments since. She's kept everything really good since, but her credit rating went down because of what happened 2 years ago. And she has since kind of gotten a lot better and things are working better for her. And then we find the lender that works with that. Remember I said that lenders have thresholds of what they will go as far as credit rating. And if it's lower than that, we'll find a lender that'll work with it and say, okay, or have them, your mortgage broker kind of say, okay, what do we need to do? What do we need to put in place to increase the credit score? And it may mean, you know what, let's put some money aside and start paying some of those debts off. Okay. I had one recently where a husband and wife, he had 2 credit cards and he had a credit rating, a good credit rating. His wife had no credit rating whatsoever. And she had no credit rating because she didn't have a credit card. So her name wasn't on any credit information. She didn't have a credit card. She just used her husband's. So my advice to her was, lender's not going to look at her because she has no credit. Okay. She's going to have a credit rating. So what I advised her was to either go jointly with your husband on his credit card and go put your name on that as well. That way it shows up on your credit rating and it gives you a credit rating. Or get your own, like go into your bank and tell them you want a credit card to start building your credit. Okay. Did I go down a rabbit hole there? I don't remember if that was sort of the question, but does that help?
I think that sounded good, Rosemary.
Pardon me?
I think that sounded really good, Rosemary.
Thank you.
Lots of options that.
Well, there is, and
yeah.
that's the important piece, that you're not alone. You're not by yourself and you're not having to figure it out or call Google and ask Google, what do I do here?
What's nice thing about someone with your experience too is that, in any situation you think outside the box as well. So that's what helps with someone who has, 20 years experience like yourself,
Correct. And it's,
that.
Thank you, Emily. It is important to know that there's a ton of information out there. There's a ton of people doing this. There's a ton of people on information for everything. So you want to find people that you're comfortable with. Like whether it's a mortgage broker, a realtor, or a lawyer, or whomever, you want to be able to find someone that's going to help you and work for you and get you to where you want to be. Financial advisors, the same thing. You want to tell a financial advisor, this is what I want. Not like I know myself, when I first started out and having to, do things on my own, I would go to a financial advisor and I'll say, here's my money. Here's my money. You figure out what to do with it to make it grow. Is that necessarily the best advice? Not necessarily, because who are they working for? How many years of business have they been in? What kind of business do they do? Do they have clients that they can give you a testimonial about, that somebody says, you know what, these guys are great. I've worked with them for years. Those are the kind of the questions you want to ask. So when you go to a financial advisor, let's say, interview them. Don't have them interview you. You interview them. Ask them all your questions. What is it I want to do? What are my goals? And let them tell you what they can do for you, as opposed to you going in and saying, here's my money. Help it grow. What's that question?
I think someone had a question.
Yeah, I'm just looking there now. People with work permits waiting for approval on permanent residency. Is it possible for them to get the mortgage if they have other documents? What do you mean other documents? I guess the question really is it a possible? I'm sorry, hi.
Thank you for the great presentation. What I mean by other documents, before you presented about the job, the letter from the employer, the T4s, all those stuff that has to be prepared before. So that's what I meant. Like if you have prepared all those stuff and then you are not a resident, a permanent resident, like you are still on your work permit, is it possible to work with you?
If you have a work permit, you have the employer's letters, I'm not sure, I'd have to check to be sure, but I think there's a period of time that you have to have been working at that job when you're not permanent resident yet. Now, whether it's like 1 year or 2 years, I'm not 100% on that, but that would be a question if you wanted to come in and see me or talk. No, nobody's visiting these days, sorry, with COVID. But we can have a conversation and I can check to find out what you need as far as not yet being permanent. I think if they know that the permanency is coming, maybe a timeline or a period of, that you're waiting for it, that's certainly helpful to them and they would be able to go with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Because it can take up to, they say can take up to 18 months or 2 years. So waiting 2 years for the permanent residence is something why you have the down payment and you have your job and everything.
Again, I'm not 100% certain on that, but I'm going to suggest that if you've got the job letter and if you've been on the job for the 18 months or the 2 years, let's say, and you're waiting the permanent residency to come in, I think that might be a possibility without too much difficulty.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, I just searched on Google for the question regarding work permit. I see there are several answers here on Mastery. They mentioned sometimes you need to work in the country for at least 3 years.
3 years or 2 years?
Here is 3 years, and then you've been employed for at least 3 months, things like that. So I think you can Google search to double check the information.
Again, for me, what I would do is have to find the right lender for that, because not all lenders will have the same kind of guidelines. It kind of depends on the lender, but basically it's packaging it up, putting it together. Here's your income, here's your job status and whatnot. You've got down payment, you've got the money for down payment. And yeah, they kind of try and work with it. Now, whether it's 2 years or 3 years, I don't know that. It depends again, probably on the lender, but effectively, I think, getting approval is possible.
Okay,
It just,
thank
it just depends on the lender and what the lender's willing to do.
Yeah, I see some answer here, so I just share with you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Can you buy a house with, can I buy a house with my work permit? Can you finance a home if you produce a work permit, employment authorization documents, or special employer sponsored via visa? Okay. Okay. Lenders must verify that you'll be able to live and work in the country for at least 3 years. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, you're answering that question. Okay. If anybody wants to take a picture of that answer, thank you very much. Is it Tien? Is that how you say your name?
Anne, yeah, you can call me Anne.
Anne, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. There.
Thank you, Anne.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Can you buy a home with agreement? However, when I come to purchasing a property, temporary resident status is all you need. That means as long as you have a work permit and have been employed for at least 3 months, you are eligible to qualify. Okay. All right. So really what it is detailing all of your information, having all of your documents when it comes to landed immigrant status, work visas, permanent, temporary, have those documents with you when you come in. Have your job information with you when you come in. And then we just package it and we find the lender that will actually look at it and do it. And so it really depends on the lender. Not all lenders will do them. Some lenders will, some lenders won't. When it comes to the banks, you're going to get a lot more restriction of what they will and won't do. That's why, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of lenders out there. So it's a matter of finding the right fit. And sometimes it can take a little while to find the right fit. But I think if you're following like the government guidelines and as mentioned on here, having employment and you've got the necessary documents that allow you to work here and your permanent residency is coming, those kind of things, if their paperwork is available, then it makes it a lot easier and it's a lot easier to find a lender for that. All right, now, let me just write this down. What I'm gonna do is, if you go down to the bottom right-hand corner of the chat, you'll see 3 little dots. And if there's any information, the information you want to keep on here, you can save the chat. If that is of interest to anybody. All right, so I'm going to save the chat myself so I can look at these again. And I will be reaching out to each of you to talk to you about what you need, what you want. Again, I offer 30, actually I'll go up to an hour. I like to talk. I'll give you a free consultation to sit down and help you work through stuff and figure out what you need. And then we go from there. And I'm sorry that Esther's not here because I know many of you are looking to speak to her and talk to her. Yeah, she'll be reaching out, I know, to each one of you as well. Okay. And I think if there's nothing else and everybody's getting tired and it's getting late, I'm going to say goodbye. and wish everyone luck. And hopefully this will be their best year ever. And if you're looking to purchase that home, just make sure you've got all your paperwork in order and walk with confidence to individuals to say, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do. And your team that you're going to put together will help you through that whole process. Okay.
Thank you so much, Rosemary.